As I have noted in a previous video regarding counter-missionaries, and of course the Three Stooges I've called out, not to mention my time of dealing with Muslims, there is often inconsistency regarding the subject of attacking the New Testament. I welcome criticism so I can respond to it, considering the number of videos which the Lord has compelled me to do, but I do get disillusioned with the double standards that some people employ to their own advantage. I needn't mention the subject of counter-missionaries too much in the video due to the other video containing this information. But what I sometimes come across is a case where a person is so nitpicky when it comes to the New Testament. They try to find error after error after error. Hey, I don't mind a challenge to my faith, but seriously, there are some points I'm caught off guard by because I haven't looked into them, and I try to address them after a little study. Or I come across an argument I can address because it's so mind-meltingly shallow. What I mean is, by the latter point, is one who presents an argument which is hardly an argument that is airtight, but seems to be an argument for the sake of arguing. For example, I was asked about Genesis 22:8, and I was asked the question, was Jesus a burnt offering? Well, the answer is no. Reason? Because that it isn't the way the offering was presented to God that Christians were pointing to. The whole reason of pointing to that passage is to show that just as God provided a lamb for Abraham to burn on the altar in the place of Isaac, so Jesus died on the cross in our place to, quote, redeem us from all wickedness and to purify for himself a people that are his very own, eager to do what is good, unquote. Titus 2:14. It is the substitution that Christians point to, not whether the offering was burnt or not. This point is not really a point worth addressing, simply being nitpicky. This has some connection to double standards, considering I can be nitpicky about things in the Tanakh, if I wanted to be. It's one thing to be critical of a religious text, but it's quite another thing to nitpick every single unnecessary jot and tittle. Regarding the Muslim populace, I get sick and tired of their misuse of scholars, like Bruce Metzger and Bart Ehrman. Muslims like to excuse the fact that Ehrman hasn't studied Islam, but regardless, the same critical arguments used by Bart Ehrman can be used to devastate the Quran. Is it any wonder that Sam Shamoun is calling out Shabir Ali as a deceiver? And of course James White has often caught Shabir reveling in inconsistency during their debates. Is it any wonder that snakes like Ibn Anwar, Ijaz Ahmed, Osama Abdullah and Shadid Lewis are also guilty of using liberal scholarship themselves, or just like to mock the faith? In particular, Ahmed compared Christians praying to Jesus to a dinner scene in Talladega Nights. Not to mention Shadid Lewis, and others, have tried to say that the Holy Spirit overshadowing Mary means he had sex with her, which is not what it means. That again, the Quran has Mary's concealed area blown into in order for Jesus to be conceived, so why aren't Muslims complaining about that section? Unless the Muslims have another interpretation, but that's their problem to deal with, not mine. I'm also disgusted when lying serpents like Jonah 94, who I mentioned in a previous video, has used pseudo-scholar and ignorant reprobate Acharya S, aka DM Murdoch, when her very arguments can destroy Islam and the Quran. I'm also disappointed when both Jews and Muslims use the Horus Mithra Talmud's arguments to attack Christianity, when those same arguments can destroy Judaism and Islam because of supposed pagan parallels. For example, if a Jew uses Horus arguments, and Rabbi Asher Meza did this in one of his videos, I can misuse the Epic of Gilgamesh and point to the flood, which isn't a comparison to Noah's flood anyway. But the point is, if pagan parallels the argument, then the same argumentation and standards can be used to discredit the person's religion. What I mean is, if someone uses that argument against Christianity, I can use it to discredit Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, whatever the religion is. Anyway, hypocrisy is sadly a trait that all humans share, and hopefully Christians, by the grace of the triune God Yahweh, can renounce this shameful practice, and learn to utilize consistent argumentation. Feel free to share this video with others, and I hope it has been helpful. Thanks for watching.